We've reached a point where digital attention is completely saturated. Acquisition costs are climbing, and consumers swipe past our campaigns without a second thought. When click-through rates flatline, the usual reflex is to blame the platform. We assume the algorithm changed or the ad account is glitching. But the actual failure usually happens before the campaign is even built. You are hitting an audience segment with a psychological angle they simply aren't ready for. Professional copywriters don't stare at a blank page hoping for inspiration. They pull from a specific toolkit of around 30 tested ad archetypes, ranging from the pain agitator to the mechanism reveal. Having 30 tools doesn't mean you use them all at once. Trying to cram a founder story, a nightmare future, and a shocking statistic into one 30-second video guarantees the viewer will skip it. This diagram shows where real performance happens. You have your offer, and you have the audience's current level of awareness. The conversion zone is what happens when you select the exact right ad angle to connect the two. Good copywriting has almost nothing to do with writing clever sentences. It is a diagnostic process. You locate the exact psychological friction stopping the prospect, and you select the specific archetype built to break it. To figure out which archetype to use, we can map them on this chart. The horizontal axis tracks audience awareness, from completely cold to hot. The vertical axis tracks the type of appeal, from factual logic to emotion and identity. Let's start with the cold emotional quadrant. These top-of-funnel frameworks are designed for people who don't even know your brand exists. When an audience doesn't realize they have a problem, you must force them to stop scrolling. You do that by deploying the shocking statistic to jar their assumptions, or the pain agitator to make the cost of their inaction painfully obvious. These aggressive tactics work. They buy highly efficient initial click-through rates because they trigger an immediate visceral reaction. But there is a serious trade-off if you overplay this hand. Relying entirely on negative framing, like constantly painting a nightmare future if they don't buy, wears the audience down over time. If every ad is a high-stress emergency, the market stops seeing you as a premium solution. High-end buyers tune out, and your brand becomes associated with cheap, aggressive marketing. High-friction archetypes are excellent for buying cheap attention. They are entirely incapable of buying long-term trust. Once prospects know they have a problem, their mindset shifts. They've seen 50 other ads promising to fix it, so they are highly skeptical. To reach them, we move to the warm, logical section of our chart. Here, you use the mechanism reveal to explain exactly why your product works, or the value-first ad to teach them something genuinely useful. You bridge the trust gap by offering intellectual proof before asking for a sale. There is a strict requirement for this to work. You actually need unique intellectual property or undeniable industry endorsements to back up your claims. If you try to invent a complex mechanism for a completely generic, white-labeled commodity, the market will see right through it. Attempting to educate an audience about a mundane product doesn't build authority. It just draws attention to the fact that your offer is exactly the same as competitors. Think of these logic-based frameworks as a magnifying glass. If your product is truly differentiated, trust scales quickly. If it's a commodity, they only expose the flaws. Now we look at the final stages, securing long-term brand loyalty and getting the immediate conversion. Archetypes like the founder story or the identity mirror are designed to build a deep connection. When a customer aligns with your values, they stop comparing your prices against the competition. The trade-off is that building this brand moat is expensive. These stories require heavy creative resources, and they yield a very slow direct response return on investment. On the opposite end of the spectrum is the closing group. Once buyers have high intent, you deploy the risk reversal to strip away their final financial hesitations with a strong guarantee. Or you use the urgency driver. By introducing a legitimate, strict deadline or a limited quantity, you force the prospect to make a definitive choice while they are on the checkout page. Do not use these closing tactics on cold traffic. Hitting an unaware prospect with a fake countdown timer completely destroys your credibility before they even know what you sell. High-effort storytelling builds a protective moat around your brand. Then, precise closing archetypes allow you to safely harvest the demand you've captured. We have mapped out the theory behind the archetypes. Now let's look at how to actually apply them to your specific business situation. This is a decision framework based on your immediate bottleneck. Struggling for clicks, building trust, or needing sales today? Let's start with a bootstrapping beginner with a limited budget who desperately needs an immediate return on ad spend. If you are in this position, ignore complex storytelling. Focus strictly on pain and direct offer archetypes to quickly test if there is real market demand for your product. Now consider the veteran performance marketer. You have a budget, but your campaigns are stalling due to severe ad fatigue. Stop recycling the same pain agitator angles. Your audience is numb to them. Instead, deploy the misdiagnosis or the mechanism reveal to provide a fresh logical angle and re-engage those jaded prospects. Finally, the high-level brand strategist. Your mandate is to drive consistent conversions without cheapening the perceived premium value of the company. You need to strictly avoid countdown timers and manufactured urgency. Anchor your media spend in identity and tribe alignments, leading with values to attract buyers who aren't price-sensitive. Whichever segment you fall into, pick a lane. Trying to cram all 30 archetypes into a single marketing quarter will only confuse the ad algorithm and your customers. High conversion copy is never about guessing the right words. It is the strict discipline of finding the customer's exact point of friction and applying the one structural tool designed to shatter it.